Hello friends, I'm delighted to welcome you to this webinar on practical demo on how to use the key functions of eCAAT. Let me share my screen. I hope you're able to see my screen. This is a presentation where we'll cover practical demo of data analytics using eCAAT. eCAAT simplifies data analytics. I'm C. Abdul Rafiq, Managing Director of Windsor Infotech Limited. This is a brief profile of mine. The vision of a company is to be a global leading solution provider in data analytics for empowering professionals to realize the potential by applying thought to technology. This is the agenda we would like to cover today. There are 4 key topics we'd like to cover. First, we'll discuss the key concepts or questions of analytics. Second, we'll look at the 7 benefits of performing data analytics with eCAAT. Third, we'll look at how to perform analytics, the specific tools and techniques. And 4, we'll look at demo of key functions of eCAAT. I would like to cover the first 3 concepts in about 15 minutes and spend the maximum time on the last part where we'll take a demo of key functions of eCAAT. And I'll take up a case study of payroll and look at how we can perform various types of analysis on the payroll data, which is received for all the employees for the year, for 12 months. Let's look at the key concepts and the questions of analytics. What is CAATs? CAATs refers to computer assisted audit tools and techniques. It also refers to computer assisted audit techniques. It is also referred to as data analytics. It's nothing but the application of knowledge, skill, tools, and techniques for performing relevant tests as per the needs of the assignment or as per the scope and objectives of the assignment. In short, data analytics is all about the 3I, which is inferring insights from information. You've got data, you should be able to convert the data into information, and based on your knowledge and skill sets, you should be translate that information into insights so that you can provide value addition to your clients through that particular analysis. What can you do with data analytics or BI software? The first one is you can establish facts and issues. For example, the company has got a credit policy. You can verify and validate whether that credit policy has been complied with. For example, the company has got a discount policy. You'd like to verify whether the right level of discount has been applied. You can establish this. The company is supposed to deduct TDS for all the payments made. You can establish this fact by verifying all the data. You can explore hunches and ideas. For example, you have a hunch that there is an issue in the inventory. You can explore and check whether the inventory is obsolete, which other inventory is obsolete. You also have got a hunch that although the inventory is obsolete, still the inventory is being purchased. You can explore this by using the various data analytics tools. You can also draw inference and insights. For example, you have the salary of 12 months. You would like to check whether the salary has been correctly computed and whether the TDS has been correctly computed. You can draw inference from this, whether it has been correctly done. For example, you would like to know whether the decisions which have been taken pertaining to payment to the vendors, is it correct? You can verify this. So it means you can draw inference and insights. You can also validate and confirm hindsight in terms of based on the experience of the past. For example, you have the sales of last year and you have the purchase of this year. You'd like to make a comparative vendor-wise or material-wise analysis and check whether there is a great variance in terms of the purchases from the vendors. you can validate this. You can also report findings and recommendations. Now let's go to the second part. What are the 7 benefits of performing data?
Sir, we are not able to hear you. Sir? We are still not able to hear you, sir. You're on mute.
Okay, I seem to do some of the other things. Okay, now you're able to hear me? Hello, are you able to hear me now? Hello? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. I can see.
How about voice is also clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay, let me just see. I think, yeah. So this, I told you that we will be looking at the practical demo of data analytics. There's a brief profile of mine. There's a vision. Now agenda, like I said yesterday, we're going to cover the key concepts, the 7 benefits, and how to perform analytics with the relevant tools and techniques. And the last part is demo of key and functions of eCAAT. What we'd like to do is, like I said, we'll spend probably 15 minutes only on the theory, and I'd like to spend more than 45 minutes on giving you a practical demo of the functions of eCAAT. The key concepts, I said CAT refers to computer assisted audit tools and techniques. We have the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques which are applied for performing relevant tests as per the scope and objectives of the assignment. In brief, you can say CAT refers to 3 I's, which is inferring insights from information, so that you can provide insights to management for effective decision making. What can you do with data analytics or BI software? You can establish facts and issues. For example, let's say the sales of last year. You want to check whether the discount policy has been correctly applied or whether the credit policy has been correctly applied. You can establish the facts. Similarly, you can explore hunches. For example, you have a hunch that the inventory, some part of it is actually obsolete or some fictitious vendors have been created. You can explore that. You can also draw inference and insights. Based on the sales analysis, you can decide, okay, what is going to the sales in the future? How the sales policy has to be formulated, or the credit policy has to be formulated, or the discount policy has to be formulated. You can also validate and confirm hindsight based on your knowledge of the past. You can check, okay, what is going to happen in the future. For example, you got the sales of last year and the sales of this year. You'd like to make a comparative customer-wise analysis or salesman-wise analysis, you can do it. And based on all this analysis, the most important thing is you should be able to report the findings and recommendations to the management. Let's look at the 7 benefits of using CATs or data analytics. You can enhance your skills and tools. Definitely it's possible because you can do much more with your time when you perform analysis. I'll show you a little later practical demo of the various types of analysis you can do. You'll be amazed at what all you can accomplish in very short time. You can increase the productivity of your time, provide better assurance and value addition, and you can grow your professional team and esteem. Let's go further. eCAAT is a software. If you look at E stands for Excel. So, and we have built a tool which actually is an add-in to Excel, which means you can perform computer assisted audit techniques or data analytics on Excel itself. There are various types of independent data analytics tools which are quite expensive and which are expensive, not only expensive, they're also time consuming to learn. Whereas we have simplified the data analytics by building it on top of Excel and make it as simple as Excel itself for the purpose of performing analysis. What is eCAAT all about? This is the first CAT software. It has been developed over a period of 25 years. What can you do with eCAAT? You can perform data analytics or analysis for the purpose of compliance, assurance, business intelligence, or you can also perform fraud investigation. Why use eCAAT? This tells you that there are more than 350 powerful functions in eCAAT Enterprise. And in the case of eCAAT Pro, we have more than 150 functions. You can perform complex analysis in a few clicks. Not only that, the software also documents automatically the work done by you so that it becomes a part of your peer review. There are three distinct uses of eCAAT. It can be used by auditors to find answers to audit questions. It can also be used by fraud investigators. In fact, this is one of the key tool sets of fraud investigation. It can also be used by management as a BI tool. This gives you a quick synopsis of the panels which are available in eCAAT. You have the curate panel, profile, analyze, investigate, document, utilities, and tools. And as the word indicates, each of the word indicates, you find they are self-explanatory. Curate means you actually purify the data, transform the data so that it's readily usable for analysis. Profile is you get high profile analysis of the data, get an overall perspective of the data, and also identify areas you want to explore further. Analysis where you perform a detailed analysis using some key functions of eCAAT. And based on the need, you'll also perform a detailed investigation. You also perform documentation of critical steps. The software also maintains documentation, and it also has got various utilities and tools. So if you have to summarize what eCAAT is all about, it's a comprehensive solution to curate, profile, analyze, investigate, document, and it enhances the power of Excel. And you can perform dynamic data analytics and BI of data in MS Excel itself in a few clicks. In fact, we compared eCAAT with Power BI. Power BI is, a software which is developed by Microsoft. It has got very good analysis. But if you look at from the point of the analytics tool, Power BI has probably about 10 to 15 functions, key functions, whereas we have probably, if you look at analytics itself, we may have more than 60 functions. These are the panels in eCAAT. If you see, it has the look and feel of Excel. This is for eCAAT Enterprise, and this is for eCAAT Pro. You find most of the functions are similar, most of the panels are similar, but inside the individual functions will vary. For example, in the case of eCAAT Enterprise, you've got sampling here. And the sampling, we may have about 30 types of sampling, whereas in eCAAT Pro, there may be only about 10 types of sampling. Now let's go to how to perform analytics. What are the specific tools and techniques? Now this gives you the step-by-step approach. You first identify and document the scope and objectives, so you should know where you're going. Identify what are the information which is required for the audit based on your scope and objectives, and collect the data, specific data in a digital format, preferably in an Excel format. Now you need to review the data. I'll show you example a little later how to review the data, understand what are the each columns means, and what are the business process rules which are applicable, what are the controls which are applicable, and based on that you will decide how to evaluate them. You review and curate the data in case there are certain issues with the data. You have to purify the data, curate the data. For example, there are certain merge cells, or there are some column names which heading is missing, or there are some blanks, rows and blank columns. All these have to be sanitized. And once you got the data, you also confirm overall whether the data is correct and complete. For example, you look at the sales data, you look at the total sales and check whether the tallies with what is the total sales from the general ledger. Similarly, if you're auditing payroll, you look at the total payroll amount, which is the gross salary, and check from the ledger whether it tallies. So like that, you identify the key figure and verify whether the statistics generated by the software is correct and matches with the corresponding results from the software. And then you will understand the specific business process and controls, identify and document the audit test to be performed, and then you'll use the specific functions of data analytics. I'll show you this one by one, step by step, little later when I walk through the payroll case study data. You analyze the results once you perform the audit test, identify the findings and perform further tests. It's very important to remember that the software can convert the data into information, but from information to insights, this is where your skills and experience comes into the picture. You need to analyze the data using the software. Once you analyze the data and you got the information from the software, you should be able to derive insights and provide suggestions to the management or recommendations to the management. That's where you have to play an important role. And you document and report the findings and the recommendations. So if you look at the synopsis of this, you set the objectives, set the test objectives you want to perform, obtain relevant data, identify specific tools and techniques you're going to use, perform the tests on the data, evaluate the evidence to infer insights, review the findings, and then you will report the findings. How does eCAAT help in data analytics? You have the knowledge, skills, and the tools and techniques we provide so that you can provide validation to your clients. So what is the benefit of data analytics? You can do more in less time using data analytics. Now let's go to the key functions or the demo which I want to show you. I'll stop here and then take to the demo. Let me minimize this and come back to my Excel. Now I've got the payroll data. I would like to use this payroll data. This payroll data, now if you see here, this is the eCAAT enterprise software. And these are the panels which are available, which I showed you. You have this curate, profile, analyze, investigate, documents, utilities, and tools. And each of the panel has got menus, and in each of the menus there are functions. In some cases, you may also have submenus. For example, you look at the profile, you have the data menu. In the data menu, you have the Stratify submenu, in which you got 5 functions. Okay, I've got this data. This data is I've extracted from the sample test data, which is already available here. So if you see here, there is a test data 1. I open this test data 1. Okay, this is the test data. There is a file called payroll here, payroll for the year. I've just extracted this payroll file for the purpose of analysis. Okay, so rather than having a lot of information, I thought I'll just pick up one file and perform various types of analysis based on this. Okay, this is the original file. I just made some small adjustments, which means the serial number, I pushed it to the first. Okay, now if you look at this data, I said first you need to understand this particular data. What has happened in this case is, let's say the client has given you the complete payroll in terms of the salary payments which have been made to each of the employees month-wise for the complete year. Okay, this is the data which is given from the payroll software. Now, first thing is, let's say you look at the net payment. In this case, I don't have the gross salary, so I can't cross-check this one. But based on the total amount, I can check whether the total amounts which has been paid through the bank, it tallies with this. Okay, now let's look at and analyze what are the elements of data and how do you understand this. For this, we prepare what is called as a data dictionary. Okay, let me show you how it looks like. This is a very simple thing. This is a data dictionary. Now here what you do is, I just take this data, what is available here, the payroll data which is there, just pick up the first row, transpose and add it here. Okay, I've added here, this is a column name. And for each of the column names, I write the business process controls. For example, serial number has been added in Excel after appending the salary for all the months. So what are the type of tests which you can perform? Verify whether any blanks and numbers are in sequence or duplicate. Next, pay date. Salary is paid on the first of the following month, and if first is a holiday, it is paid on the next working day. And for the company, Saturday, Sunday is a holiday. You can verify whether salary is paid as per this particular policy. Let's say we have this month, salary is paid only once a month. So which means for each employee, it's paid only once in a month. So in this case, what is that I have to verify? I have to verify whether this policy is complied with. So verify whether salary is paid for only 12 months of the year for each of the employees who have been working in the company. Similarly, I got the employee number. Employee number is unique for each employee. Now I have to verify whether the same employee is used for more than one, same employee number is used for more than one employee. So like that, I set up the business process controls and decide what are the audit tests. Okay, now let's take up further employment date. This is the date on which the employee has been appointed. Now, what is the principle pertaining to this? Now, I cannot get salary prior to the date of employment. So once the employee has been appointed, he'll get the salary for the number of days he worked in the following month. Similarly, you have the departure date, which means the employer resigned and left the company. In that case, once the employee has left, then I know that the salary has to be paid for the number of days he has worked during the month of departure, and later on, he is not supposed to be getting any salaries. So similarly, I have got this net pay and commission, which means this is the net total salary which is payable to him, including the commission, which has been computed. In this case, we don't have the data or the breakup of salary. We have only the total amount of the or the net of pay and the commission. Next, I have the actual payment. Actual payment is the amount which has been remitted to the employee's bank account. Now, can I relate these two fields and check? I want to check whether the actual payment matches and corresponds for each employee with the net pay and the commission which is there. Now, you also have the maker and checker. So what is the rule for the maker and checker? We know that the maker and checker have to be distinct and unique. The maker cannot be the checker. Next, I have the department. So I can also do a departmental analysis to check what is the salary as per each of the departments. I have the PAN number. Based on the PAN number, I can check for each employee unique name, whether the PAN number is unique or whether any duplicates in the PAN number, which means same employee has got multiple PAN numbers or the same PAN number has been used by multiple employees. Similarly, bank account number, generally bank account number should be same. So I can validate and verify whether for each of the employees, the amount has been remitted to the same bank account or it has been remitted to multiple bank accounts. So correspondingly, I can also verify whether multiple employees' salary has been remitted to one bank account. Okay, this I just gave you synopsis of the tests I can perform based on the payroll data. Now this, I'll come back to this a little later. Now let's come back and then perform the test. I got this data. Now what I did was, generally whenever we do the audit, this is the basic principle we follow. We keep a copy of the original data and make a copy of the original file, and we call it as with that name appended by testing. Okay. Now the first thing I wanted to perform was, now I want to check this policy, whether the payroll has been, salary has been paid on the first of the following month or on the next working day if it's a holiday. So what I did here was I just used Excel here. This is the original data. I have got only the pay date and the month. So I added two columns here. What are the columns I added? There is a function in Excel called day, and if you give the column name, cell name, it computes the day, which means it gives me the day. Based on this, I know now there are 1, 2, 3, which means these are the dates on which the salary has been paid. Now, if it is 2, which means that should have been a Sunday. If it is 3, which means it should have been the 1 and 2 could have been a Saturday and Sunday. I want to validate this. For that, I also need to know what is the day of the month. So I use a function in Excel called as text, and then I give the cell name, comma. If I give this DDD, it actually gives me this information pertaining to the day for that particular corresponding cell. So here, based on this, I find, for example, in this case, what I would like to do is check for 2. If it's 2, what should be the date? So we know if it's a 2, it's a Monday, which means I know by default 1 was a Sunday. So they are paid on the second working day, first working day of the week, which is Monday. Now let's go further and validate. Now, if I go and check for the 3rd, when I check for the 3rd of the month, whenever they're paid for the 3rd of the month, it looks like 3rd of the month seems to be happening on multiple days. So it's happening on Mondays. Okay, Monday is okay. So let us see whether it's a Friday. Why it has happened on a Friday? Okay, 3rd is a Friday, which means 1st and 2nd was actually Wednesday and Thursday, but they paid the salary on Friday, which means the salary has been delayed. Which means wherever this particular day, let's take the day of the month. I have got only 3. Let me remove the filter and cross check again. Now this is the total, this is salary. Okay, it's first, I'm not interested in the first part because it has been paid on the first of the month. I'm looking at second and third. Second also we validated. We are only looking at the third. When I look at third now, I find third seems to be Monday. So Monday is also okay. So I remove the Monday. Other than that, now they also, it looks like they've also paid on Saturday and Sundays. Let's check how come they have paid on Saturday and Sunday. I just want to find out these exceptions. Now I find in this particular month of August, although it's a Saturday, they paid on a Saturday. So I can pick up the exceptions from this particular policy directly with the simple Excel functions. So now if you see, Excel can give you the data, information based on the data, but I should be able to analyze and do this analysis. So it's not necessarily that you should always use data analytics from the data analytics software. You can also use Excel as required. So you find wherever you got this information other than Monday, which means in this case, there have been some exceptions to the policy, which means they have paid on the salary has been delayed to that extent by 1 or 2 days. And not only that, it looks like they have actually paid on a Saturday and Sunday. Okay, this is a very simple analysis. Now let's go to a little more complex analysis. The first thing I'd like to do here is, I'd like to summarize the salary as per the employee number or the employee name, and let's say as per the department, to check what are the salary paid month wise. So let's do this one by one. There are multiple ways of doing this. Let's do this based on the month. So in Excel, if I'm using, I can use probably the pivot table. Here, what I'll do is, we have a function called classify. Classify works on character fields. I pick up classify. Now I say I've got the column called month. I select the month and I want total of the net pay and the actual payment. Now I can get the result in 2 ways. I can get this in the result form or I can get this in Excel. Now first let me show it in Excel. Now this is what I have to do. Like pivot table, it's much more simpler. I'll also show you what additional difference is there compared to a pivot table. Now if you see here, it has given the result. There are 12 months. So I wanted to verify the salary is paid only for 12 months. I got this. It's not sorted. It's sorted actually alphabetically month-wise. Now let's look at the count. These are the number of employees which has been paid. Now based on this, I know how many number of employees are there in each of the months. It looks like September, they had the maximum number of employees, 29. Now this gives me the total amount. Now I also know that the sum of the net amount and the actual payment should tally. I'll come to a different type of test because here I find there is a difference. Okay, in a few months there is a difference. We'll also identify in which place exactly there is a difference. Okay, this is how I can get the summary of the salary based on month wise. Now taking this figure, I can also validate with the actual payments made. Now let's do this analysis. I don't want to do the analysis for each of them. I want to do multiple analysis in one go. So I just go to classify. Now I select the day of the, now I'm not interested in day of the month. Let's pick up the month, the employee number, employee name, which means I want to do multiple analysis in one go. Departure date, I want to do based on the department. Okay, that's enough. I want, let's say, the actual payment and the net pay and this one. Now, if you see here by default, this option's result form is gone. Instead of that, what you'll do is you can say, okay, all this analysis, whether there are 5 fields or 10 fields, all these results are computed and each of them will be added as a separate worksheet in Excel. So once you got the data in Excel, then you can do further analysis required. Now, if you see here, this is the data which has been added. Now, all of them will come with the extension called with the EXT. Okay, and this is the analysis we got. So if I go to extension month, for example, this gives the month wise. Okay, now if I go to this employee number wise, now this gives me for each of the employee wise, it gives me. Now I'll also know there are some employees who have been paid only for 1 month. I can also go and check whether these employees who have been paid only 1034, 1035, whether they joined only in the month of March. So let's go further. Now I can do filter. I can do analysis on this particular employee. I want to pick up 1034. Now he should have been, he has been paid only 1 month salary and that should be only for the month of May 2019, which means what? Which means this person joined in May and he has, no, sorry, salary was paid in May. He departed in 30th April 2019, which means the analysis is correct. He worked for only 1 month in the month of April. Let's look at the next employee, 1035. Okay, here also the same case. He has worked, departed on 30th April. That's why salary of only 1 month was paid. So I can do, once based on the information I got, I can do further analysis as required. Okay, now I have got this result here in the Excel form. If the same result was available in Excel, I could have drilled down and got to know for what month it is paid. I'll show you that also. Okay. Now here, I also see that this employee 1001 has been paid 13 times. Now let's just see. When I sort it here, I find this employee number 1010 has been paid 18 times. This 1009 has been 14 times, which means there are 3 exceptions. I can also identify why the exceptions are there, which means I highlight this, then I can go and perform an individual analysis. Let's come further. Now here also, you see, this gives me as per the employee name. Now last time, if you see, we got the employee number. Now if I'm going to do the analysis, now you know Manoj Kumar has been paid 18 times. Okay, this Nazuk Seth has been paid 14 times and Muhammad Zavarin has been paid 13 times. Okay, so I get this information as per the employee name. Now based on the department, now I got these 5 departments. Now I can get the breakup for each of the departments, how much has been paid. I can also, let's say I want the salary for each of the departments month-wise. How do I do that? I'll show you that. Now let's get started with that. Then we'll do further analysis as required. So I'm coming to the payroll testing. What I wanted to do was I come to eCAAT Enterprise. I go to Classify. Now here I wanted to do the as per the employee name, and then I wanted the salary as per the details, and I want to group it based on the month. Now I should be able to get breakup. See, I've got for each of the months, I've got the breakup for each of the employees for each of the months. Okay, now let's say I've got this data. Now this is going to be only one because the salary has been paid only once in a month. Okay, now I think what I want to do was, I made a mistake. I want to do as per the department, not as per this. Let's come further. Date, classify. I can also use group by. Classify can work on even character field. Group by can work on any type of a field. So here I wanted to pick up the department. Yeah, I want to pick the department. And then I wanted the department. I wanted based on the group by. I wanted based on the month. Okay. And then I want total. Let me pick up the total. I want only, let's say, net amount paid. Now here if you find for each of the department, it gives me month-wise breakup. Okay, this result. Now I want to just do further analysis. I can also do analysis. Now let's say I want this result in Excel. I'm going to perform the same analysis here. I come to classify. Here I'm going to select the department and group by the month. Okay. Then I'll pick up the, I want total for the net amount which has been paid. And I say I want the details in Excel. So directly I'll get the result in Excel. Okay, now I've got for each of the departments, I got this particular information. Okay, now it gives me this information. Now this particular data, I want to see in the form of a spark line for each of the department month-wise. I want to see, which means I want like a pivot table. No, I want April in the columns. So for that, we got a specific function with a very special function, which is very powerful. I go to trend line, I go to analysis and select Crosstab. So I select the department, classify on department, and I select the sum here. Okay, now if you see here, I got the sum and I have the department. Now you can see what will happen here. Now you see here, for each of the department, it gives me the salary which has been paid for each of the months. Not only that, it gives me the trend. Okay, what has been the trend? Let's say I want further information. I also want to know what is the highest salary paid, what is the lowest salary paid, the average salary paid, like that. I want the count, etc. Same function I'm going to do. This is what I had department wise. Same trend line. This is a trend line is a very, very powerful function. We can perform for various types of analysis. Let's say data analysis, credit analysis, any type of analysis. Okay, I've got this information. Now here, classify on department, it's important to select the right field. Okay, now I got the sum. This is done. Now I come to the options. Now here in options, I got statistics, count, sum, average, minimum, maximum, MVF. I say select all and I say okay. Now you see the magic. What happens for each of the department? It tells me the count, it gives me the sum, the average, minimum, maximum, and the maximum variance factor. Maximum variance factor is the ratio between the highest amount paid and the lowest amount paid. For example, in the case of purchases, you find there's a big variance of 1.79, which means if you see the highest amount is 20 lakhs, the lowest amount is 71,984. Okay, which means they added a lot of people in the department. Okay, so this gives you analysis department wise. I can also do month wise. Okay, this is just an example of how we can do use the Crosstab function. Now let's come further. Now I just showed you some simple functions of classify. Now let's say I want to do some much more difficult functions. What I'd like to do is I want to find out whether the same maker is also the checker. Okay, so I want to find out the exceptions whether the maker or checker are same. So what do? I have a function here, identify duplicates in the same row. Now, what is that I want to find? I have the maker and the checker, and they are in the same row. Okay, there's some. Yeah. Okay, now if you see here, I think I've got the result. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I've got the result here. Now, if you see here, this is the result. Now, I got this case. Now, just see this case. Now, in this particular case, for these transactions, which means that I've got 9 transactions where the maker and the checker is same. Okay. So, at one glance, I'm able to find this. Now, I can also do this in Excel. It's very simple, which means I have to just match the row and check whether the row matches. If it row matches, it becomes, I can pick up that information. But Excel, I have to do in 2-3 steps. Here, I can do this much more simpler and faster. Now, let's ask one more question. I want to find out for the same employee whether the PAN number is different. Okay. For that, what I do is I use a function called same different. Identify duplicates same different. Okay, see here now it's very, very important. You know what is that same, which means I want to find the employee number. Okay, employee number is same. I can also say the employee name is same, and what is that? The PAN number is different. Okay. It does the analysis. There are 19 cases where there is a difference. Who are these cases? Now, you see employee 1004, Anshu Kumar, 11 times he has given a PAN number. 1 time there is no PAN number, it is missing. So which is the month? I just double click. I get to know in August the PAN number is missing. So we can find out whether data entry error, why in that particular month the data is missing. So similarly, if you look at Richa Dhawan, okay, for 9 months the PAN number is 1, okay, ADI, and whereas in next 2 months its PAN number is different. Similarly here, it's actually 3 different PAN numbers have been used. Now here, if you see, Nazuk said 2 times, whereas another 2 times, 12 times they got salary in a different name, which means the same employee number is there. Okay, whereas we got 2 different PAN numbers. Okay, similarly here, so I'm able to completely do the analysis in a few seconds. This is what I said is the power of data analytics. So it means I just share this in Excel, and that becomes a part of my data analysis. I can do further analysis to why this has happened. Now let's come further. I want to do one more analysis here. Same thing I want to apply for the bank. So what do? I go to identify, loop duplicates, same, different. Now I want to find out, let's say I'm just going to pick up the employee number. For the employee number, I want to find out whether the bank account is different. Right? So these are the 2 fields. It's very important that you select the right fields. I say, okay. Now you see, in a few seconds, I've got the result. Now in this case, if you see here, what's happening here? Employee 1009. Now I find there are 13 times I paid the salary. Okay, here 1 time I paid salary to this particular bank account number. Similarly, 1015, I paid 1 time to this bank account number and another time 11 times to this bank account number. So maybe in this case, I have to cross check whether it was an old bank account and this is a new bank account. Okay, the employee 1021, I got this 1 time and 7 times I paid to a different bank account. Now let's see this 1009. What happened to this particular bank account number? Why this also? You remember I told you I can also check up why the salary has been paid multiple times. Now I can get to know in which month the salary has been paid multiple times. This gives me the complete breakup of the salary, which has been paid 13 times. Okay, now if you see in Jan, this comes twice, which means salary has been paid twice in month of January. You can do further analysis why this has been paid. Same salary has been processed and paid twice. Now the same analysis that I was telling you. Let's come back here. I wanted to check now for this analysis. Let's say I've come to same classify. I want to do based on the employee number and I want the total net pay. Okay, I'm not going to do anything further, which means for each of the employee number, I get the details. You remember I want to do further analysis. So I just sort this. Now I got this 18. I want to know who is this guy who has been paid 18 times. I just double click. It gives me the details. Who is that employee who has been paid 18 times? Okay, now it also looks like he has departed on 1st April 2020. And the departure also has been noted twice. Okay, and he has been paid 2 times. Maybe last time you have to see, maybe there's some settlement amount which has been paid. So you can cross check and see why the salary has been paid multiple times for this particular employee. Now, how do you know which is multiple times? You can just sort it based on the month, or you can go and select which is, for example, here you see July, just search for July. Now I see July, the salary has been paid 3 times. And these are 2 times the same salary, another time the different salary. Okay, now how did it happen? You have to investigate and find out why this difference has happened. So this is how you can do the analysis for this particular fields. Now let's take up another field. I'll look at the employee date and the departure date. Now let me apply the filter and let's do analysis through Excel itself. What I want to find out is if the employee has left in April or whatever month he has left, he should be getting salary only for the next month. Now here itself, when I do the analysis, I find there are some guys who have left in 2016, but the salary has been paid now. Why the salary has been paid? Is it the arrears of salary which has been paid now? You see here, 3rd October it has been paid, but the employee is supposed to have left in October 2016. Similarly, I can go to 2017. I find there is 2 employees or same employee. I have paid 2 times. He has left in 2017, but I paid on 1st April 2020. So I have to go and cross check whether some dispute in salary, and based on the dispute, this amount was settled and the amount was paid in full. So we don't jump to a conclusion that there is a fraud. We do further analysis to cross check and validate whether there is a error. Now let's come to 2019. 2019, you see here, there are so many employees who got. So in this case, individually, I have to go and analyze for this particular employee. Let me take up one example. Let's say Sumit Mittal. I clear this. I come to Sumit Mittal. Okay, so I got this. So I do the analysis, I find, okay, so this person, this is correct. He has been left on 30th June. The salary has been paid on 3rd July. So I can do analysis. As of now, we don't have one single function through which you can do the analysis. In some cases, you may have to do multiple analysis for each of these employees. Or what I can also do is, there's one more function in eCAAT for each of these employees who have left. Okay, so what I can do is I can extract the list of employees, save it in a separate file, and then extract the salary for only these employees and do further analysis. Okay, let's come further. I got this net pay and the actual payment. What I would like to know is, I would like to match whether the total salary paid, which is the actual payment, if you see the total here, 64,04,106, and the net pay commission 63,73, which means there is a difference of 33,000, nearly 33,000, which is actual payment made, excess payment made. The competition as per the salary is 63 lakh 73, but the actual payment is 64 lakhs 6,000. 64 lakhs 4,106. So I want to find out the difference. How to find out the difference? In Excel, I can add a column and say J2 minus K2. I don't have the time and patience for that. I would like to know for each of the employees or in which month this has happened. For this, what I could do is, let me come to eCAAT Enterprise. I can do it in multiple ways. I'll show you one simple way. I come to analysis. In analysis, I come to a function called MIS. In MIS, I pick up this. This is the based not on the departure date. I want to pick up based on the pay date. Okay, and I want to do salary based on month wise. Okay, and then so based on this, what will happen? I'm just showing you one step. I just want to compute the salary which has been paid for each of the months. Now here, if you see, I picked up the month and I got the total of the net and the actual. I say okay. Now this gives me the breakup of the salary for each of the months. See here, for each of the month, it gives me the breakup of the salary, both in terms of the number of payments that have been made, the count, and the sum of actual payment. Okay, now this one, now my objective was to find out the actual difference. Now I can save this in Excel and then I can find out in which month it is there. I'm interested in the employee. So what I do is I come back again, analysis, pick up the MIS. Okay, and then I go to MIS. I also want to do the, now I want to pick up based on the pay date. Yeah, now I've got the net payment and the actual payment. I also want to group it based on the employee, which means based on the employee number. Okay, I got this. Now I also want to do the computation. So when I do the computation, these compute and compare functions are there in Classify also. So what I'm going to do is, from the results which I've got, I want to pick up the sum of actual payment minus the net sum of net payment. Okay, I add this figure, which means now it will be able to pick up the sum of actual payment and minus the sum of net pay and find out which are the accounts which have got difference. So it means along with the salary, now it will also compute this figure. Now let's say in this case, I'm not interested in the percentage. Okay, I'm also not interested in the count here. So it becomes easy for us to view. Okay, I got these figures. Now you see here, I just did this compute. Based on that, I did the verification. I missed something. Here I have to select what is that I want to do month wise. Now if you see here, based on this, I got this salary computation for each of the month. Okay, now I want to find out which is the case where I got this difference. I say greater than 0. I get to know that these are the month where the salary is paid excess. For example, the net amount to be paid is 4,737. Actual paid is 14,737. Now here 12,409, 22,409 has been paid. So this is how I am able to compute the difference for each of the months. Okay, which means for all the months put together, for each of the employees, I'm able to find out where all the difference are available. This is what I said is the power of the analytics. Now, same thing I can also perform in classify. Same thing if you see here. Let me take up classify. So there are multiple ways of doing the same thing. I'm going to pick up based on the employee name. Okay. And I want sum, that is the net payment and the actual payment. Okay. Next, I'm not interested in the month. I just want to know exact wherever the difference there, find out the difference. I compute this. So what I want from the results I want, because there are multiple computations, sum of the actual payment minus, okay, sum of the net payment. I add this. Now I should be able to pick up this figure for each of the employee name. Okay, there is an issue here. Okay, there is the issue here. I'm not able to get the results. Otherwise, I should be able to get the result for each of the employees. I should be able to get this information. Let's see whether I get the same thing here. Let me come back and show you one more thing. This MIS analysis is a very powerful tool. Now here I have to pick up the pay date, and I have got the net payment and the actual payment. Okay, now I have got this MIS. Now it gives me day of the year, day of the week, month. Okay, I want to know on what day of the week they paid the salaries. Okay. For each of the month, it will tell me on what day of the month the salary has been paid. Now, if you see here, this is what I find here. They paid salary on Sundays. They paid salary on Monday, which means it looks like they paid salary on all days of the week. Suppose they're not supposed to be working on Saturday and Sunday, you can check up how come they made the payment on these particular days. Similarly, using the same function, let's say I got the sales data. I can find out what are the sales which happened on a Saturday or Sunday, or let's say journal entries have been passed on a weekday. Weekend, I can find out that. Okay, this is a powerful function for finding based on the day of the week. This is what I said is the analysis. Now let's do further analysis. I want to check for each of the employees whether there's a variance for each of the months. Okay, how do I find out this? I can go and filter for each of the employees. Let's say there are about 26 or 27 employees. For each of the employees, what is the salary which has been paid, and then do an analysis. Now, in this case, what I do is I use the same function, what I said, analysis. Now, let me come to this. I'll use a group by now. Okay, group by is similar to classify. The only thing is you can use it for multiple purposes. Okay. Here, what I would like to do is I want to pick up based on the name of the employee name. Okay, I want this particular. Let me pick up only one. This is based on the net pay amount, or let's say pick up based on the actual payment. Okay, what is the actual payment made? And I want to group it based on the month, day of the month. No, not day of the month. I think we have the month. Both of them are going to be same. Okay, so let's look at this employee name. And I want the total of the actual payment. I want it group based on this. Okay, I generate this directly in Excel. I say okay. Now this generates this result, which means now for each of the employees, I've got the total salary which has been paid for each of the months. Now I would like to see the trend analysis for these employees and see whether there's a variance. What function do I use? You remember I told you about the Crosstab. I come here, analysis. I go to Crosstab. In Crosstab, I pick up the employee name. It's already there. Next, I pick up the actual payment. This is done. Now here it will give me the trend. In addition to that, I want to select the options, and I say I want all these options. Now you see the beauty of this. You'll be able to get powerful information in one glance. Now here, at one glance, you're able to know for each of the employees, how many number of the salary has been paid, how many times it has been paid, what is the total sum, what is the average salary, what is the minimum, what is the maximum, and what is the MVF, that is the maximum variance factor. Now here, if you see, if you just sort it based on this, you'll be able to find out. Let's do the sorting. Okay, sorting. Okay, I've got this sorted. Now you see this Gaurav Narang, his salary has been paid 5 times. Now this guy's average lowest salary was 1,620. Assume he has worked only few days in the month in that particular when he joined, and then I got maximum is 22,409. So there is a variance. I can go and cross check whether this actually is a factor. Okay. Similarly, here in this case, you see the general trend here is, but you can also find out that the general salary which I paid is 7,080. Okay. How come he jumped to 22,049 all of a sudden in one particular month? Now, if you see this again, this Nazuk said, now here, if you see the average salary seems to be 21,020. Okay. Whereas here in the month, one particular month, it has gone to 1,24,020. So I'm able to find out all the exceptions, all these which are more than, let's say, 1.5 could be a variance, because salary variance, let's assume they give a 30% raise or 40% raise. Anything which is above 50%, you can cross check. Anything more than that is definitely an issue. We can go and analyze and check what has happened. In the other cases, there are also 0.21. Here also we can check why there is such a big small variation between the two. Okay, which means the salary increment has been given. So this where I can find out what's happened for each of the month wise. I can do the analysis. Now just imagine trying to do this in Excel or in a pivot using pivot table of Excel. Now this is going to be very, very cumbersome, whereas in eCAAT it becomes very, very simple to perform this function. Now let's come back again to this particular data. So now we have analyzed most of the information. So if you see here in terms of the field, we looked at the PAN number, bank account number for all the fields. I think we have already done the analysis. Okay, now let's see. I want to do based on the actual salary paid. I want to see what are the unique salary figures which have been paid. How many times the same thing has been repeated. So I come to data. I'll do two more functions. I'll pick up summarize. I do a quick summarize. Quick summarize means it works on a numerical field. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the actual payment. Okay, and I want to total of the actual payment. That's all. Now, if I do this, okay, now this will give me for this numerical figure how many times that particular salary has been paid. For example, if you see here, 1,24,000 has been paid one time only. 1,18,000 has been paid only one time only. Now, wherever the salary has been paid unique, then I think it becomes a reason for further investigation as to why the salary has been paid like this. Now here, if you see, I just sort it. Now this 18,720, it looks like we have paid 11 times. 7,068, we have paid 8 times. So wherever you got higher salary, based on the salary, now you see there are some salaries which is only paid lower amount. I can also pick up which is salary which is unique and check up why the salary is unique. Now same thing, I can also do analysis and pick up, like I said, same analysis I can do summarize, quick field, and then I do with group by, which means I want to do as per the employee. So I'm going to pick up the actual payment, sum the actual payment, and then I say group by employee name. Okay, now you see here, I get based on the each of the employee name, I'm able to get what is the salary, which is now this guy seems to have been paid 1,24,000. This immediately stands out that this guy is unique. We have paid this 1,24,020 only once. Manoj Kumar, we have paid this 1,18,636 only once. The Swati Jain, it looks like we have paid different amounts. Okay, it started with 82,000, it has gone up to 99,000. Okay, similarly, we got this Sumit Mittal, it has been paid only once, this 76,020. Now, based on this, I want to do further analysis. I want to do sorting based on the employee name. Okay, I just sorted based on the employee name. Now this gives me information based on the employee name. Now you see here, based on each of the employees I get. Now I get to know how many times what amount of salary has been paid. Now you want to go and pick up any specific employee. Let's say I want to pick up this Ankur. I can just pick up this information. I can get this information and I can do analysis. So this is what is possible in this particular case. Okay. Now this particular employee number I have got, I can save this in Excel based on what analysis I've done and do further investigation as required. Now let me show you one important function, which is, let's say I have a salary. I want to group this salary based on a particular band. So I can use a function called Stratify based on numeric. And say actual payment, it gives me the variance. Okay, I say autofill. Okay, then I get to know how many times what is the range of the salary. Now it gives me stratified data. Now if you see here, between 1,620 to 13,859, the total number of times it has been paid is 148, and this is the total amount. 13,860 to 26,099, this has been paid 116 times. And then I find C, immediately I can find out the exceptions. Okay, which are the ones which are last. Now, for example, let's say you want to pick up the sampling based on this. Let me show you the last function. Same thing I want to do in sampling. I go to sampling, same function I perform. Now I can go in sampling, I can go and select based on the interval, based on number and total count. Let's pick up based on the criteria analysis. Profile, I want to do stratified. Stratified, I want to do numeric. So the same function, then I'll also help you to do sampling. I've got the same thing here. It gives me the range. I can also go and change the range based on that. I can get the range I want. Let's say I want a range of 10,000. Okay, I think 1 minute. Yeah, I didn't fill the intervals. Now, sometimes you should be able to clearly see whether it's an error message or it's a validation message. It was a validation message because I did not fill the figures. Okay, and now what I do is I group by. So what is that I want to do? I want to do this analysis based on, let's say, based on the department. So I got the salary which has been paid in different bands. I want to do further analysis based on the department wise. I say okay. Now I got this particular salary based on the department wise. Okay. Now for each of this, I want to do the sampling based for each specific department. So I can click on the sampling. Now you see the same result is opened here. And then I can also sort this. Okay. And then I say in this particular stage, or let's say based on the value, I can sort it. And then let's say I want to pick up sales. There are 58 cases. Let's say I want to pick up 5 cases in this. Okay. In this, there are, let's say marketing, I got 10. Let's say I pick up 4 cases sampling. Now here I got this purchases 14. In this, let's say I pick up 3. So I can decide this, pick up the sample based on this, or I can say uniform sample size, or I can give a sample percentage automatically based on the sample percentage. This is selected. I say extract. Now it means I've given 5 plus 4 plus 3, 12. Okay, there's some issue in this because I sorted it. That's where it giving. Let me perform this once again. I'll do it one more last time. I said I'm going to do through sampling. Now I said sampling has got multiple things. I can also do classified and then perform the sampling. I picked up numeric. Yeah, I've just added this. Let me pick up as it is. I say fill. I've got this information. I want to group it based on the department. I can also pick up, let's say based on employee, I want to pick up a sample. I can pick up based on the employee also. Okay. I got this information. I say okay. It has given me the result. Here there is a small bug when I do the sorting. Let me do the sampling now. Now I got the sampling here. Let's say in this case 42, I want to pick up, let's say 4 cases here. In the 79, I pick up 8 cases. Okay, in this 22, I pick up 2 cases. Okay, now I say which means totally I've got 14. I say extract. I think there's some issue in this. So what should actually happen is I should be able to get this, extract this 14 samples. So in the case of sampling, we had an issue. Yeah. So this is how you can actually perform the sampling and pick up the sampling based on specified criteria. Now, let me show you one last thing. Okay, it's already getting late. Now I have this salary data. Okay, now what I want to do is department-wise, I want to extract this salary. So what I can do is there is a function called split sheet by group. This, what are principles I'm showing you for payroll, you can also apply to anything else. For example, I got the GST sales data. They give me the complete yearly sales. I want to sort it based on rate wise, or I want to break it based on the product wise, or based on month wise. I say I want to pick up based on the department. Okay. Because I want to go to each of the department, check whether the salary is the employees are actually working in that department. And I say where the default location, I say okay. So what it'll do is this will break this workbook into multiple sheets and create a link worksheet. And in this worksheet, now if you see here, support department, I got this sales, purchases, marketing, IT. For each of the department, split the data. So just imagine if you got the sales data pertaining to GST and you want to group it. Now, same thing, if I want to append this data, I can also combine this data put together using the append function. We already have in the relate. There's something called an append function where you can also join the files together. Append files, match columns. In this case, I can also join the files. So this just to give you an idea how you can use various functions of eCAAT for further analysis. Okay, let me come back here. So now the only question I want to ask you is, using data analytics, can we make assurance more assuring? So the answer definitely should be, there's definitely a better way to audit, and this is possible through using CAATs. So there is a better way to provide assurance, compliance, or validation and become more productive, more effective, and also timely reports you can provide by using data analytics. Now, if you want to make a comparison between Excel and eCAAT, now this I think image will give the information very clearly. Excel you can say is like a knife, whereas eCAAT data analytics software is like a Swiss knife. Based on the need, you can perform the specific analysis, and you can perform probably 10 times more powerful function compared to Excel, and in a much more better way. The reason is Excel was not designed as an audit software. Excel was designed for general analysis, whereas data analytics software like eCAAT are specifically designed from the auditor's perspective for the purpose of performing further analysis. Why do you need data analytics in audit? The objective is to provide assurance or trust by using technology with CAATs or data analytics. Okay, with this, I conclude the presentation. If you got any questions, I'll be glad to take the questions. Now, this presentation will also be recorded and uploaded on the website, so you can also view. Now, the sample data, I told you, I have used the sample data from our eCAAT file itself. Whether you're using eCAAT Pro or eCAAT Enterprise, most of the functions which I've showed you are available. You can perform the analysis. You can also practice. Probably I've shown you about 20 or plus functions. You can perform this analysis as required. Now, what I've shown you, I have given you only is the indication. Based on this, you can use same functions and perform for sales, purchases, for various processes you can perform depending on the need. Okay, any questions? I hope the presentation is useful. So thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you.
Yes, sir, it was very useful and informative. We will use it in our works.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, bye.